Right, you guys, it's trading time. So we got the people squad to kick off with. We're making 2 trades this week. There was some talk around 3. There's some last minute decisions being made, with UNA can actually being moved back into the second row and out of the centre position, with Pompey getting his spot back is the late Mal. So with that in mind, we've kept him. We were going to do 3 trades. Jerome Hughes is going to make the squad, but he's now missed out, and we made certain that Matty Burton had to be in the squad, and that was the expense of Nat Butcher there, which is the same in my team. He's moved on as well, and with him being out, we also had to make way with Talatau Kola, actually, unfortunately. So with him still making a bit of cash, he has almost peaked, probably has about 50k to go, and we'll probably looking to trade him out next week anyway. So we thought that this was the opportunity that we could use to trade him out now and bring in Volkman, which gave us the cash to be able to pick up Burton. So it leaves us with 9 trades remaining, which is still plenty, and we can probably use a bunch next week, whether it be 3 or 4, to get a good squad together for round 17, probably a couple of cash outs, or maybe one more cash out, because we have Volk and Davi Mwale now, and get ourselves a decent round 17 squad heading into round 18 and 19, where we can really build back our rank, because we have slipped to a 278 over the last bunch of rounds, and that is due in part to not having Matty Burton there, and thankfully we've fixed that now. He's back in. Hopefully he doesn't get injured in Origin. That would be mean to myself and to the people squad, and also myself, who has also brought him in this week. So in terms of our setup on the bench, we will be able to loop. So Panthers play first out of all these guys, so we're going to try and loop Taylor May and see how he goes. He's definitely more chance of getting it, against a solid team there in the Roosters, a chance of getting like a 25 or potentially a 50 like this if he can pick up a try. So that's the theory with Taylor. We can pop him in there as a loop option and slide in Davi Mwale if we want to. We've got Savage up there. We've got Ezra Mam and also Karaz we can play around with if we'd like. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think the bench setup should be, whether we should play Karaz over Ezra or Savage, for example. He's obviously up against Cowboys, Ezra, and Savage up against Dragons. So 2 okay sides to come up against. Ezra playing next to Reynolds. I think that obviously opens him up a little bit to do some damage, and I think we'll just leave Volk there, even though they have a decent chance of playing well against the Tigs. So overall now the team is getting pretty close to set up. Obviously a few more guys to bring in. If we're looking on the right here, I think targeting Damien Cook in this team and also my team would be the way to go. We have Cleary, which is great, but then there's guys like Murray or Madison. I think we need an extra top gun in that mid-edge position. And then obviously a few other potential guys, whether it be a gun in the halves, whether it's a DCE, or if we can't get to Cook, we go to Reece Robson or something like that. Potentially Pappenhausen at the back, but we do currently have the Garrick Hines Teddy combo. So really, I think it's probably a gun hooker, one more mid or edge, and potentially one more half, depending how Dylan Brown goes. So that's the theory. As to where we're at with the people squad, we'll move on to head-to-head now, who has been scuffling a little bit, dropping back to 115th. Still obviously a great position, but hasn't been incredible over the last bunch of weeks, especially sitting at 25th overall at one point there. So in this squad here, the biggest question mark was what we do with Payne Haas. So if he doesn't play, I definitely have enough cover, whether it be for Talent Mariner or Kohler there. Both of those guys could slot in and play, or just move Maxi King into that mid, so I can move Tohu up. A few different options there. Our main issue with the head-to-head squad is just that we don't have Cleary, and that's something we have to fix up in 18 or 19 there, and we'll have to create a little bit of space. And thing here is we have 2 guys that are fairly cheap in Peoples and Falls, and we're really hoping for Trenny to play in round 17. And what we're going to need to do to be able to get Cleary in at 939 is downgrade one of these 450, potentially 500k guys, and then upgrade our 700k options. So at the moment, the trades for the week were Ruben Cotter. So unfortunately, with his injury, it's worth moving him on now. We could potentially move him back later if we need to. And Isaac Tungo was the second one. So we've brought in Frizzell this week, which is I think a very clear, good option. He obviously picked up the 21 last week with the head injury assessment, and drops a bit of cash and he's still got a high break even, but he's someone that can average in the high 50s, and I think he's a great option for anyone's side this week. You're getting him under 50 in terms of his price when he can average the high 50s and has done for years, so he's very, very consistent with that. So Frizzell, a great option, I feel, this week to bring in a very, just an important week overall. And then Jahrome Hughes, actually going to roll the dice with him for this round 17 bye. He has the team to himself this week. Pap's coming back. It's going to be Hughesy and Harry with Munster being out. And Hughesy's going to be the top dog in 17 as well. So at a minimum, you're going to get him for the next 2 weeks. You'd imagine scoring pretty well. They have obviously a tougher matchup this week against Manly, but he's a great player and he can dominate against any team. So I think Hughesy, bringing him in this week along with Frizzell, gives this side a good punch here without Cleary. So hopefully that Heinzie can get a big one, and also Damien Cook can continue doing his thing. Great to have Reynolds back in this squad as well. So I can see some improvements over the next couple of weeks. And with the 8 trades remaining, we can still probably make 3 next week. I'd say would be fine heading into round 17 to build up a nice score in that one, and then head into the next few rounds. So that's that with this one. I could trade Payne Haas, but there was no clear best options for me. So I think we could probably wait till next week and hope that he plays this one, gets us a 50. And if he doesn't, I can get maybe a close to a 40 from Raymond and deal with that, and then make some moves next week potentially with Payne. So that's the head-to-head squad in a decent position as well. I'll move on to my team here, the NRL Fantasy Analysis crew. Made 3 trades this week, and some interesting ones at that. We spoke about Nat Butcher going. Matty Burton was obviously a clear trade in. I've actually brought in Jahrome Hughes as well. So this team here had no cash outs, and we used our first one here to bring in Keenan Palasia. So he obviously had the 4-minute game last week. Not worried about what he scores this week. He's going to drop in price again. He's going to be pretty low, around that 240, 230. You can wait till next week with him. He's definitely going to be playing, unless he gets injured. But there's a great chance that he starts next week and gets some decent minutes, whether it's a 40 to 60, somewhere there. You'll see Flegler in that starting side, but there's definitely going to be minutes to go around. There's going to be needing a front rower in Payne Haas, and there's going to be needing a 13 in Flegler. I've already got Jensen in the starting side, so I think it's going to be Flegs, potentially Palasia. If not, he should be getting some decent minutes off the bench and at 20 or 30. So we're using him as a cash out this week, and Burton comes in. Unfortunately, I was just going to go the 2 trades and keep Aiken would be the goal, but I couldn't trade out just Butcher to be able to get Ewan in there. That's the slight, sorry, to be able to keep Ewan in the team. That was the slight issue this week. And we're looking at the rest of the setup, and overall, like this squad here is solid. And again, the main issue here is that we don't have a a non-playing player, so we can't use the loop. So potentially just going to go with Ezra over Kohler and May and Karaz actually. So yeah, I just think he can score pretty well. It's going to be a fun game against the Cowboys, and I think they can do pretty well. But great to see Burton back in the squad. Hughesy there. Things I'm missing in my side, again, is pretty similar to the People's squad. Another gun hooker being Cookie or Harry Grant, for example, and then a nice mid, a big strong mid with a Murray, a Madison would be ideal. And then we can work out the rest later. But having Brown, Hughes, and Cleary, I think is going to be solid enough for a team that doesn't have amazing team value. We have Joey Manu who can cover centres there. That was probably the biggest thing for me to go, okay, I can let go of Ewan Aiken, was that I have Penasini who's potentially a keeper. But if he's not, and we have to trade him out after 17, we have Joey that we can move up into the centres, and I can bring in a Teddy, a Paps, or something like that down in the wing fullback spot. If we're looking at my bench currently as well, I have only the 1 cash out, which means I have space for 2 more, I think, next week, which if I use that 3 to 4 trades, let's just say it's 3. I could get 2 cash outs next week because there's not a lot of clear keepers heading in for round 17, if we're honest. So I have the Browns, Papali's, McInnes, these types of guys who could be potentially keepers in their positions. And so potentially we could get 2 cash outs, hoard a bit of cash so we can get a Damien Cook, get a Teddy, get someone like that in round 18 or 19 and try and make up a few more ranks. I think currently sitting with 8 players if Heinzie doesn't play. So I think that's pretty solid. If we can get 10 to 11 for round 17 with a bunch of guns mixed with a few cashies, 3 there, I think we could do okay. And guys to potentially trade would be Kohler, Karaz, Taylor May. There's definitely a few options there we could move on. potentially Max King if if it's we've worked out that he's not going to be starting, for example. But that's really it, guys. I hope you got a lot out of that. I hope that helps your squads. And I wish you all luck in the first game tonight and really enjoy that one. It'll be fun. Storm v Manly. If you're playing draft size, jump into that as well. Hope you enjoy that, guys. See you later.